Alright, here. So I had recorded all these yesterday and I went to review it and put it up on YouTube and saw that there was absolutely no voiceover. So I guess we're gonna do a narration, which we've never done before, but we're gonna do anyways and hope that it shows up, because apparently that's what we're going to do. And I don't have any idea what I was doing at this pre-area, but this next video is going to show you the next batch of prototypes that I got from the 8 floppy disks, and it's also going to compare 3 of them to other prototypes that I got off eBay that are different. The first one is Eye of the Beholder, and Eye of the Beholder is an RPG that never got released. I think there's been some versions out there. I don't know how this compares to that. It's supposed to be able to save a game, and the cartridges that we use do have save RAM on them, but as you can see from this video, I'm pretty sure it doesn't save, either because it's not fully implemented or because it doesn't accurately address the save RAM. So what I try and do here is to test the save RAM, is to set up a party of 4 female fighters and then save it and then try and reload it. And it shows you that there's obviously a lot in here, and it's implemented, and it's certainly very playable, although a little later on as I try and play it, I have completely forgotten how to play it. So, yeah, you'll have to bear with me as that becomes painfully obvious. So here I am, I'm just sort of putting female fighters and, putting them all in there. And it doesn't matter what you do, if you have a fighter, it's going to have this. So, there's some, reading. Read. Does anybody actually read this stuff? I mean, seriously, you just button through it, right? Because, whatever. It's not going to change the game, right? Sometimes it does, I understand. Somebody's going to say, well, you have to read it in order to... I'm sure that happens. But if you're honest with yourself, you know that you button through it too. So what I'm doing here is, if you press option 1, it brings up this pseudo menu. It's like a use item menu, and it's what you need to bring up in order to fight the monsters. And if you click, if you put the arrow over the sword or the hand and you press B, it will attack. If you press A, it will pick it up and then drop it. So here you bring it up, and so if you bring the option 1 up and then press B, it'll do that. Now, for the next 5 minutes, I'm actually going to get killed. Well, 2 of my fighters are going to get killed by this gnome, rat, demon, something. And in hindsight, it's fairly embarrassing, but at the time, it was just frustrating. Now watch, I'm going to put it down, which does absolutely no good, right? So you can pick up and put stuff down. That is a good thing to know. Yeah, he's just going to wail on me for like 5 minutes, I think. And if you notice on the right and left, the top row, the first and the second character, their hit points are slowly going down. And I'm just madly pressing buttons now, trying to figure out what I'm not doing correctly. And I don't know how I got to this. Oh, this is option 2. Yeah, option 2. Yeah, no, I'm really madly pressing buttons here, trying to figure out what's going on. Later on in the video, I figure out what to do, but by then I've reloaded the game and I've just painfully trying to do it here. Yep. Let's just bear with me here as I do this. See, now it's grayed out on the upper left. That's dead. Upper right is dead. Unfortunately, apparently their bodies are blocking because you can't attack from behind. Because if you see them, the upper row flash, that's me trying to click on the hand and hit the guy from the back. So he can hit you, but you can't hit him. Apparently he can reach over their bodies, but you can't. Not sure how that works. I don't know how it would work if the front two die. Do you turn? Would that do it? I don't know. I didn't. Eventually I'm like, okay, I can't do this. I can't figure it out. Plus, I'm recording, right? So I'm like, I'm looking like an idiot, which I end up looking like an idiot anyways. And now I have to see it again in full living color. Relive it the second time, which is just great. I look forward to all. Yeah, 3 people dead. I'm guessing you put that ration on the plate and then he eats it or she eats it, but I didn't get that far. And so what I eventually do here, there we go, game options, go down, go, oh, there you go, save the game, save it. Yes, now you want it the green version. The white version is not what's highlighted. So load, and see, here's how I know it doesn't work. It's saved, and I loaded it, and there you go. And I'll bring up the party, yeah. And bring up the party, come on. Moving around. Now the switch, but this is the original switch. Just flip the switch, Marlon. See, this is the default party. You can tell it's got the mace and the axe and the short sword and the dagger. So it didn't save. Or I did something wrong. I just don't know. I don't know how Melkar gained a level by opening a door, but apparently he did. Pretty sure it's a he. Could be a she, Melkar could be a she name. I don't know. See, I figured out how to do it. You press the B button while the arrow's over it, and then you attack. So hey, didn't die this time. Always a plus. This is a rune. Trying the A button. The B button works. Here's a door that's opened with a button. It's very particular about where you put it to. Yeah. And then, just start cruising around. Going through hallways. So it's fairly deep, and as far as the turn. I missed the button there. There's a lot to look through. There's monsters pop up every so often, and they certainly pop up behind doors. If I'm not mistaken, I'm going to eventually find another door here. I'm going to open it up, and there's going to be 4 of those ugly things. I spent about 2-3 minutes trying to pick these up. I don't know what maybe they're rocks. They look like coins to me, but nothing gets picked up, and then I go past him and realize that I'm back where I started before. So I do that, and then I try and find my way around. So the buttons A and B turn right and left, or A turns left, B turns right, and then the D-pad moves you forward and back. And then it also moves you side to side. So your orientation doesn't change with the D-pad. Your orientation only changes with the A and the B buttons. And eventually I find the third door here. Yeah, here it is. So this doesn't have a button, doesn't have a switch. It's got this button in the wall next to it. So you have to press that. Again, option 1 to bring up the menu. And then you got to find the right place for it to go. Now, see, you can see it opening up. And now, the fact that the arrow key opens up in the middle of the screen and you've got to navigate over, not cool. Not cool. And it really should lock either side. Maybe you couldn't do that. I don't know. But so here I'm figuring out how to bash on them. See, the green is me doing damage and the red is the monsters doing damage. Eventually I just use the axe. I try and alternate between, thinking I can get some extra turns in that way. Nope. And they've got some swords that they drop, which you would think that you could pick up, but you can't. Oh, and but I have to switch to the short sword here because the axe wasn't getting him because that fighter wasn't on the right side. And now this is a scroll that's down right there. That's a scroll. You should be able to pick that up, but I couldn't pick it up. Now I could just not find the right hitbox. The reason I know you can pick it up and I know it's a scroll is because later on I find a scroll inside of a wall and I can pick that up. I have no idea what to do with it, but there we go. I'm assuming you can read it. Oh, and then, yeah. So now some more monsters show up, and it's different monsters, and these are not nice monsters. They're definitely a little cranky. And I don't think I found the switch for this. Yeah. So it must be somewhere else. Yeah, so this is a little slime snake or centipede or I don't know. It's not cool. It's not cool. And it's got friends, which is annoying. See, I try and switch between weapons here, but it takes too long to get across. So I just end up... Ooh, what was that? Okay, so, yeah. Apparently indecision is going to kill me. So yeah, you can hear the sound effects. So it's not bad. It's not bad at all. And here's some more monsters. So again, the game's not just I think it's fairly finished. And I just don't know if maybe the save you have to do at a particular place in order for it to make a difference, and I just haven't found that place, or something else has to change. I just don't know. And the fact that you can't pick these up seems to be annoying. Maybe that's a limitation of this particular version. Yeah, I just don't know. Or maybe it just didn't find the hitbox on it. It's entirely possible. See, this is the scroll. So you can pick this up, and then what do you do with it? So you put it in the inventory. Yeah, I just don't know. There's got to be a way to read it or put it into inventory, but hell if I know. And then, so there's a lot of stuff here. See, this is the default party. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I pressed some button. I'm assuming since the front two have hit point losses, you could swap them out. But see, I try and save it. I spend 2 minutes trying to figure out if I want the yes to be green or I want the yes to be white. So I eventually figure out that the yes has to be green. And that's going to be sometime soon, right? Come on, save game. Yes, press it. Press it, see. See, it says it's saving. But then I hit the VGA button. And so I don't know what happens for a bit here. I think I changed games. Nope, I just restart it. So I restart the Lynx, hoping that I can load the game, right? Load current game, loading game. But see, it starts same place, same bat channel. The doors are closed now. Everybody's at full hit points. I don't know. I just don't know. I know the save RAM works. It's been tested. I just don't get it. So I play with this for a little bit and eventually do some spelunking. But I've about reached the point. I mean, I've been playing this game for almost 20 minutes now. So I'm like, okay, time to move on, right? So, hey, we've got Eye of the Beholder on the website. If you want to play with it, maybe you can figure out more about it. But it looks like a fairly playable game. Game save may not be present, but if it is, the RAM is on the card for this to work. All right, now, this is Battlezone 2000. This first one is the version that was from CES 91. So this is the prototype that I got off of eBay. And so in this screen, you're supposed to put different parts on the grid. And I think you can do it automatically, but I'm not sure. Whatever the case, it doesn't really let you play anything. It's just to show, I think the milestone is just to show that the interface exists and that, there's something here. Like I say on the website for this version, it's the beginnings of a game, right? Now, this next one, this is the version of Battlezone that I got on these floppy disks. This is a playable game. Okay, this is still the CES version. Yeah, I'm just trying to do something else. I restarted it thinking, maybe if I restart it, it'll be different, but it wasn't. But that's why it's cheap. Now, this one should be the new prototype version. As soon as I try and figure out what I was doing for a good minute. I'm sure I was saying something very, very important. I'm sure I was trying to find it. And then maybe the cable wasn't connected, because that happened a couple of times. And so what else is going on? That's a real good question. I wish I knew what was going on. Here we go. Okay, so you can already tell the difference, right? And so this is a much better version, and you can choose the different zones, and it makes a difference. I don't know what the Z rate is, but apparently it is. Now, when I play this, I don't play it very well, but I can guarantee you that there are enemies and you can play it. I don't know the rules, and you know, the fact that they have a password game save. Now it's doing this all automatically. I'm not doing that. I just selected a tank and said okay. So it's going to put all this stuff in there, and this becomes your HUD. So they say okay. And then, okay, so I think those are the boundaries. These droids, I don't know what they do. I think maybe they keep you in, but you can't destroy them. There are enemies to destroy. And eventually I will find one of them. There's a mountain, there's a droid. Yep. And then the droid plays with me for a little bit. I'm not quite sure why. And then I shoot at some mountains thinking they're enemies. The enemies are actually, you can see them off to the right. I fixate on the rock for some reason because, you know, why not? But then I find the enemies, and there's an enemy right there, and I get it before it gets me. Well, it got me a little bit. But hey, you know. And then I think I hit a bug error or something because it just kind of does this for a while. And I'm not sure what's going on. So I power it off. But before I videotape this, you can play it. There are enemies. There are multiple enemies, and it makes a difference on where you start. So it's a playable game. Now, how does this compare with the Easter egg that's hidden in the retail version of Battlezone 2000? I don't know. But as I recall, getting to that Easter egg is a pain in the butt. So if nothing else, this is an easier way to play that game, right? Because Atari didn't like this version of Battlezone, and so they just made them do, which is, you know, a graphically beefed up version of the arcade game. So this next one we're going to look at is going to be Damon's Gate. At least I hope it's Damon's Gate. And so Damon's Gate, I have two versions. One was the prototype off of eBay, which was for CES, I think for CES 91, and then the versions I got were CES 92. Alright, so this CES 91 version of Damon's Gate, it's playable. It's definitely playable, but I think the later one is more playable. Like, more's gotten finished, and it's very interactive. So this is the opening sequence for the CES version. It's much more involved than the floppy disk version, but there's less gameplay here. So maybe they cut the introduction to save space. I'm not really quite sure. This is the Damon. It's a little awkward, I'm not gonna lie. I couldn't draw that. I can barely draw a stick figure, but it does look a little awkward. But hey, you know, it's pretty well scaled. So, this version, and I've been told that Damon's Gate was supposed to be a trilogy. So, we're going to turn that down a little bit. So Damon's Gate was supposed to be a trilogy, and this is the first instance of it. You can fight the monsters here, and they do hurt you. You can pick up coins. I couldn't find a shop that actually works. So you get some coins. The music was really starting to kill me. In addition to the monsters there, they were also starting to kill me. And so, never go in a cemetery. There's always going to be somebody there to kill you. There's especially at a pet cemetery, because they'll go back to life and kill you. So I wander around here for a bit. I think I get killed in a minute, because, you know, I'm not very good. And I'm trying to narrate at the same time. Of course, while I'm doing the narration, it's not being recorded, thus why we're here right now. And so I found... Okay, so this house shows up in the floppy disk version, and you can go in. These you can't go in. Now, is it the same house? And I don't know. I'm going to say it is, and we're going to believe it. Because you don't have any other proof, do you? Maybe you want to find proof. I don't know. But as of right now, that's what we got. Yep, and I'm about to die, or the cable fell out. Again, not sure which. The cable fell out. Oh, and I died. Okay, so this is it's still the first version. I think I'm going to switch to the second version here. Pretty sure that's what it is. Yes. Okay. So same drop screen here, but like I said, the intro is completely different. And so this is the floppy disk version. This is on the list. It's Damon 02. Let's see. Yeah, Damon 02. And so the first one was Damon CES. And I thought there was sound. Maybe there's not. The titles go on for a bit. Eventually I button through them. And that flashing, that is not me. That is how it's programmed. It's just how it does its transitions. Okay, so I buttoned through it, yeah. Okay, so this is obviously a later version. It's still 91 copyright, but I think it's closer to 92 when they finish this. Now, I've got no weapons in this one. Got more health points. Start off with some coins. And in this one, I find the boundaries of the city, and there's an option that says, do you want to leave the city? But it doesn't really go anywhere as far as I can tell. So I thought this was a shop. It's just some house. And apparently, what you need to do is, kill some monsters, start up people's houses, and go for all their goods. Which I think is just a fair exchange. I'm getting wailed on here because all I have is a fist. But, I think maybe, no. And then, ooh, sweet, so good. So, there are more houses in this town, more buildings. Probably gonna die soon. See, shop. That wasn't. I mean, in the other version. So here we go in a shop, and you think, oh, I can buy that sword. No, you can't buy that sword. And that thing, the blue thing that looks like a shelf, that's not a shelf. There are stairs going up. So eventually I'm going to find that. Stairs, and then this is just another place to go for things. So it's not really a shop so much as a place to shoplift, right? And then so I'm gonna wander around a little bit here, wander there, wander here, wander there, wander everywhere. Dice. But once I restarted, I tried to leave too. music's different, isn't it? Oh, 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 I've died. I've died. Yeah, see, this is February of 92, and the other one was in 91. See, now it says leave 10, so I think I selected, and it lets me go a little bit more, but then it says do you want to leave 10 again? So I'm not sure what's happening here. Maybe there's something that they wanted to code and they didn't. I definitely didn't find that in the other version. So, and then a shop, but there's nothing in it. So, I don't know why there's a sign that says shop, and then there's also a shop that you can access via option 1, but there is. So, there's that. And I found the water. Again, so, there's the two different Damon's Gate. The next one is Basket Brawl. And Basket Brawl, again, I have one from the eBay CES and one from the floppy disks. And the floppy disks, that version is called Basket BR, BasketBR.05. And I'm not sure what the numbers after it. Maybe it's the iteration. Because I've got a couple that say ROM, which I assume are finished. Now, so this is the CES version. It's a different interface. It's not radically different, but it is different. I think the graphics are a little different from the floppy disk. The play is different. So, I just go around here and try and find the different things and beat up on people. I could swear I thought I was playing a much, much different version. And maybe I've got that in my head and there's another basketball game here. There could be. So here's the second one. This is the floppy disk version. The other one was the CES eBay. So again, this is copyright 92, whereas the other one's copyright 91. This splash screen's a little different. Again, look, the interface is a little different. There's a passwords system. There's a progression of where you have to play, a la, Fight Night or, whatever. Again, this is 101. The people on the sidelines come in certain times. I'm not sure when, but they're definitely keyed, and they're not always on the court. Oof, oof. He's hurting. Oh, somebody's got a knife. Oh no. Oh, right in the face. I believe that was a technical foul. I could be wrong. So, there's the two basketballs. Okay, so that's the end of the differences. Now I want to show you some different, the other ROMs that were present. There's like 80 ROMs here. So I'm slowly going through them, trying to find out what's here, if they're different from the retail versions. And I do that as I have time. So the first one here is Ninja Gaiden. It's listed as Ninja X and Ninja X.06. And It seems fairly complete. Again, I have not compared it to the retail version, so I've got the retail version. I just keep forgetting to bring them to the shop because they're in my house. And so I play this for a little bit. It seems to be the same. It'll be up there. I don't know if it's finished. If it is, great. If it's not, great too. It's a prototype. Save some money. I don't know. This is Blockout. It seems fairly complete. I mean, it's 3D Tetris. You seem to be able to choose all the different levels. In a few minutes or a few seconds, it's going to freak out and like drop 15 different blocks, and I didn't do anything to make it do that, so I'm not sure if that's a bug that's not worked out of this prototype. You can use, if you hold down the buttons and then use the D-pad, then you can rotate it. And you can use A, B, or option 1. Just hold it down. Oh no, you can't use B because B will drop it. So it's A or option 1, and then hold that down and use the D-pad to move them around. Okay. And let's see here what goes on in just a second. If we'll see it do it. Yeah, see, it just starts dropping blocks for some reason. So, I get out of there and go. Now the next one is going to be... Alright, so we're back. And sorry about that. One of my daughters came into the office. Since it's COVID, there's no school. So this is APB. Again, this seems fairly complete, but it's not listed as a complete ROM like some of them are. So maybe it's not complete. Maybe it needs some tweaking. Again, based on my memory of APB, it seems to be fairly similar. Maybe the upper levels aren't finished. But, I mean, I'll put these up. Atari put them all in the public domain, so it's not a big deal. But, I mean, I don't think there's anything special here, and APB did get a retail release, and so I just play this for a little bit, and then I go back, and my boss tells me I did a real good job, yeah. So, I mean, it's APB. And then, so, the next one I try and do should be Baseball Heroes, but I didn't put it in all the way, and then I erased it trying to fix it, so I'll tack it on at the end. And let you know, again, seems like it's the retail version, but it's not listed as a complete ROM, so it's a prototype. Yeah, you can see it. It flickers a little bit. Yeah, wants to do an insert game, but that's because it's not making contact, and I just don't have it in all the way. So I put it aside, and I should pick up a different cartridge. I don't remember. Yeah, I'm doing something here. Maybe the cable's not plugged in. Yeah, the cable wasn't plugged in. So I figured that out. Put the cable in, and what I'm trying to do right at this moment is make a new version of Baseball Hero so that I can pop it in. Unfortunately, all of the files to do that are on the SD cards that is recording the video, so I can't really do that. So I fiddle with it for a little bit. I try and start it a couple of times, realize there's nothing there, and go, okay, let's move on to Shadow of the Beast. Now this is being done because it's listed as Beast.03. This is very playable. Again, I don't know how it compares to the retail version, but it seems complete. But Shadow of the Beast is not really forgiving. I mean, you could play it. It's not Batman. Batman just sucks. Not because it's a bad game, but because it's damn hard. So, Shadow of the Beast, like I said, seems to work. And yeah, if you go in there, it's a locked door. You can't beat this guy. I tried. All he does is take your health, so I just move through him. Maybe you need some kind of weapon. Now this ball, I think, is to prevent the pointy things from getting you. But then I somehow managed to overrun it. And then I get stabbed anyways. Again and again. And then these, you have to punch, but I don't do that. I figure out to kick, but I don't. But I do punch these. It's nice parallax scrolling up there. It's a nicely done game on the Lynx. And if you can't find a retail version, this will give you some good playability. Again, not an easy game, but a playable game. This next one should be Batman. And I'm convinced that Batman is listed as Batman 07. So again, not a complete ROM. But the retail version of Batman is nigh unplayable. And again, you can play it, but you have to be like super good. And maybe I just suck. I don't know. But every person I've talked to that has played Batman on the Lynx can't play it because it's just unforgiving. And a friend of mine actually says that playing it is an exercise in masochism. And there's a cheat. Oh, don't tell me. I know there's a cheat, but the cheat is like 50 characters long. And if you screw up one character, then you have to start all over again. And you have to do that every single time the game starts. So I'm convinced that the game's not really finished. That it's like 5 levels, and then after that it's kind of finished. But they figured nobody would ever get that far. Now, I'm just being silly. Because I'm pretty sure this is a port of the Genesis version, or at least similar to it, or maybe it went the other way. I don't know. But these stupid clowns keep throwing dynamite at you, and I don't know how to get them. They're throwing dynamite from you off screen. I mean, that's BS. I mean, seriously. And you can beat them up. I know that you can get batarangs, but see, because all I have is a fist. Where do I get batarangs from? And then I guess this is a chemical that I can use. Maybe it's a health potion. And then the motorcycle's going to run me over. And not only are they going to run me over, they're going to come back and run me over. Again, you got to be superhuman reflexes. I am not superhuman. And you know, if you say it's the easiest game in the world, I won't believe you. You can say that, and, you know, that's fine. I don't believe you. And if you say you finished it, well, yeah, I don't think I believe that either. But hey, kudos. This is Bill and Ted's Adventure. The retail version is pretty good. I have not played the retail version in a while. I did finish it back in the day. This seems to be somewhat complete. I think it crashes out when I try and do... I'll try and go up here, and I'm not doing anything in particular. I'm just sort of walking around because you have to find the notes, and then it just ends. So, I don't know. Again, it's listed as Build TED 13, so I don't think it's complete. Maybe it's pretty complete, but I would have to play through and compare it side by side with the retail version. So this next one, I'm trying to do Baseball Heroes again, and that should be... Oh no! So this is Casino, Lynx Casino, and this is what made me think that I just hadn't inserted Baseball Heroes all the way, because Lynx Casino, the colors are because the cable was not completely connected. And all the games seem to be present. They seem to play. I play some blackjack for a while. I think I lose my shirt. Yeah. And there you go. Yeah, $1,000. I think I get back to 500 or 600, but no. It's got craps, it's got blackjack, and it's got roulette. It may have one other one, but I didn't check. I get all sorts of excited here and try and play two hands, which, you know, yeah, this is where I lose all my money. And then, yeah, okay. Now, what I should have done is not hit that, but it's a soft 16 or soft 17. You should always hit it. And you know, 15 I've got to hit. This I've got to hit. I should have stood. Because he's got 13 and he's got a hit. But you know, my luck, he would have pulled an 8. So let's see. I bet this and I get a blackjack. Yep. Yay! So you're back up to 700. Ooh. So it's Lynx Casino. Seems to be complete. That should be all of them. Yeah, it should be all of them. So these will be up on the website if you want to get them. The Eye of the Beholder seems playable. Again, it should be savable. I'm not sure if it is or not. I would definitely, if you want to play Battlezone 2000, this version from the floppy disk is much more playable. Definitely much more playable. All right, so enjoy, and we'll see you at www.thebrewingacademy.com.